I just noticed the lighting on this thing is a little bit off. It's mainly because every video looks different, and it's probably because the lighting from the window is kind of different, or something's always kind of different with the lighting anyway. But I just installed the latest firmware for the webcam, so that's probably changing things as well. Anyway, I am doing another late video, so my voice is kind of low, but you would have already known that, so I don't have to tell you again, but that's why anyway. So I'm not a political guy. I don't get heavily invested in politics, which I should. A lot of what atheists talk about is directly related to politics. You think about certain regimes and certain government offices that are directly related to the religion of the leader, or biased anyway to a certain leaning, depending on which country you're in. So with that being said, I'm going to talk a little bit about what a program I saw tonight, The Agenda with Steve Paikin, which a lot of people tune into, and TVO is such a great channel and everything, and I really like watching The Agenda with Steve Paikin. I find that they, I'm going to come off a little bit hypocritical, but they talk a lot about conceptual issues and theories of politics, etc. So tonight they had a panel of NDPers who had lost their seats in the last federal election, and it interested me because they were talking about, first, there were a lot of things that I understand, but I dare not venture into the details of them because I'm not that politically versed. So better be safe than sorry, right? But the first idea was this LEAP manifesto thing that they're talking about. I think it's a great idea, and it seems to have been signed by a lot of people who are quite popular, like Arcade Fire and Alanis Morissette. I mean, who wouldn't sign a petition after that, or a manifesto after that, seeing Alanis Morissette's name at the head of the list? So that alone kind of gives me this. It kind of gives. I'm turning into an old man, kind of. So, you see Alanis Morissette on a manifesto and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to sign that. But it actually is a substantial piece of writing, that was put forth by a group of that conferred on these issues, including indigenous peoples, indigenous leaders, and faith-based leaders, etc., etc. I have yet to read the manifesto. I only just kind of got my feet wet tonight, but I have to. It's one of those things I want to read and maybe sign. It does talk a lot about environmentalism and caring for one another, etc., etc. Now, the caring for one another thing, that's the second point I want to get to. And it kind of ties in with the first thing as well. One of the MPs, I forget her name now, but she, watch Steve Paikin, the Agenda with Steve Paikin. You'll see what I'm saying. She was talking about this in this sort of like trail off of intersectionality. She was kind of explaining intersectionality as a feminist, and taking all these different factors into consideration when it comes to what makes up a gender and sexuality, etc., and race and all that stuff. Tends to form what a person is on a psychological level. For me, anyway. It also kind of makes a person up. Socially, how they exist within a society. So she kind of trailed off into this, me needs to become we in terms of society, and I don't think that's going to work. There's a lot of conceptual issues that the NDP is playing with right now, and which party wouldn't after losing an election and sort of getting a head start and then losing an election. Of course, they're going to revise their concepts and where they're coming from. And I think government is very important. I believe that social programs and stimulus to the economy. I think the government is absolutely crucial and important in these things, especially in Canada, where we are left leaning and we're kind of socialist, and we want those sorts of programs and those sorts of ideas being put forth and supported by government. Obviously, I don't believe in anarchy, and sometimes as an atheist, you kind of think, okay, well, anarchy is the way to go. But I wouldn't, even as an atheist, I wouldn't want anarchy being, the way we live. But this me becoming we type thing, going back to that, just seems like a pipe dream. It just seems like one of those concepts that is a long haul. And this ties in with the LEAP manifesto as well. Like, I believe that individuals in a consumer economy don't change that easily. It's like expecting people to apostatize overnight. Individuals don't change those types of behaviors. Like, they don't. And this is where capitalism is ingrained in how an individual lives their lives on an individual level. Like, capitalism is, consumerist culture is ingrained in the way we live. You can't change that type of behavior. Like, not overnight. That's a long haul idea, but it's a very noble idea, and it's one that, you know, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it won't happen. Like, it just won't. I am well because my neighbor is well. That type of thinking is difficult to change, very difficult to change. And I'm saying I'm a part of it too. But you know, recognizing that is very important if you're going to implement any sort of social programs. But like I said, I'm not too much of a politician, so I'm not going to go into detail. But it's a very interesting panel tonight with the NDP, with the former MPs, NDP MPs. So yeah, that's my video for today. A late video, so sorry about that again. But yeah, we'll talk later. Bye.